Hello, everybody. My name is John Fincham. I am the president at Water Damage Inc. here in Denver, Colorado. And I wanted to start a short video series. I'm not sure how this is going to play out or develop, but it's been kind of on my mind for a while, just because there is so much misinformation in this industry. Kind of shock that we see homeowners go through when they're expecting to have coverage and they don't, and just kind of start some educational videos that will hopefully help people when they're dealing with certain types of situations. So this first video I wanted to start with, I thought would be a good one because it's something we often run into in the spring, sometimes summertime, and almost universally the homeowner is shocked that they do not have coverage for this particular situation, and that situation is water seepage. And for those of you who don't know what water seepage is essentially when we have experienced a heavy amount of rain for usually several days, and the water table around the perimeter of the property fills. What that does is create what we call hydrostatic pressure, which pushes against the foundation, and that hydrostatic pressure allows the water to find any sort of crack, crevice, any sort of pathway into the basement or crawl space or whatever level that bottom level is of the home, and usually results in some pretty bad damage. Flooding of carpets, drywall, can ruin furniture. We've seen it, with several inches of water throughout, 1,000 square foot basements. So obviously a lot of mitigation needed to stabilize that environment, prevent mold, and get the homeowner back to normal. Um, One of the toughest parts about water seepage is letting the homeowner know, you most likely are not going to have coverage for this. And that's just not with any particular insurance company. That tends to be universal across all the insurance companies. Once that water hits the ground and comes in, it is typically not covered. People often don't realize that your general homeowner's policy does not include events like that. Sometimes with flood coverage, you may have some luck there, but even with flood coverage, you have to be in a floodplain, and often surrounding properties, a certain number of surrounding properties would have had to have flooded as well for it to consider a flooding event. So even with the flood coverage, you may not be extended coverage for that loss. One possible way to get some coverage in these situations is if you have a sump pump. If you have a sump pump and it fails due to the amount of rain, it can't keep up, it shorts out, and you have a sump pump endorsement on your policy, then you can get potentially some coverage for the water damage. Usually, sump pump endorsements we see limited at anywhere from 10 to 20,000. Um, but then at least you're getting some help with the situation, and you're not stuck, paying for everything on your own. So that's one of the reasons it's really important when you have your policy reviews with your agent to ask about all these different types of issues. If you have a sump pump, ask, do I have a rider? Um, you can ask if you have mold coverage, or if you can get an endorsement for mold coverage if your insurance company offers that. Because mold is another thing that is often denied on an insurance claim, because the way that the insurance company looks at it is, this is a maintenance issue. You should have fixed it. It's not sudden and accidental, which insurance is meant for. Therefore, we are not covering it because mold has developed. Um, there's also some insurance companies now that offer hidden water coverage. So this would be something like a supply line leaking, but it's behind drywall. So it goes unnoticed for a long time, causes a lot of damage, but isn't noticed until finally, the hardwood floors in the kitchen start buckling because the water had traveled down the wall and is now seeping out onto the subfloor. And then you open things up and there's mold. Um, if you have that hidden water damage coverage, that can often be covered as well. So it's really, again, not to overstress it, but it is really important to get to know your agent, talk to your agent, ask about the different coverages that you may be lacking on your policy, and see if you can get them added. Another one to look at is anything related to drain backups. There can be a lot of different situations where drain backups may not be covered. Sometimes during a drain failure, you're going to have your front yard dug up and the drain line replaced. You want to see if you can get any sort of coverage for that. Um, and all of these things, yes, I know they do. I do understand they do add up on your monthly insurance costs. but really the costs are very minimal compared to the amount of money you would save if you do have that coverage and one of these events happen. Um, so this is my video kind of on water seepage, at least started on water seepage. And look for future videos. I hope to continue to make these and just hopefully provide some useful content for people, not only on the mitigation process from a contractor's perspective, water, fire, and mold mitigation, but also some of the problems and issues that we come across out there that you may not be aware of that if you get ahead of might prove very helpful to you. The next video I will try to make about certain ways to prevent water seepage. That way, if getting any sort of coverage for that, or if you don't have a sump pump and can't get a sump pump rider, you'll at least have some steps you can take to minimize the chance that water seepage will happen. Can't guarantee that it still won't happen. We've seen people with every possible precaution in place, and with the amount of rain we've been getting here, especially in Colorado the past couple of years, they still experience the water seepage in the basement. But I'll do my best to provide any kind of tips and tricks that may help prevent that from happening. I hope everybody has a great Saturday, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.